everyone, thanks so much for watching. Today we're making these adorable and sweet flower and gift card mini baskets. I got these little tiny baskets from Hobby Lobby. They were $5. They were in their basket section. They're 4.5 by 4.5. I also am using wet foam. Okay, you have to use wet foam. And all I'm doing is sizing how big of a piece I need, and I'm going to be putting it in water. Now you want to be careful to not soak it too long because it will drip out. I actually set them aside. I literally just put them in water for a minute and I set them aside to release any excess water it may have for like about 5 minutes, and I just finished prepping all my stuff before I did that. I'm also going to be using I'm actually adding a gift card in here. I just got two Starbucks gift cards. Two of them are one is for her main teacher and the assistant. So I'm giving them a gift card. And then the other two are for like the crossing guards, the ladies that are always out there every morning. So I wanted to give them a little something. So here I am. I'm just using a cake pop stick, but you can use like a floral stem, anything like that. And I'm just taping it to the back of the card. So that way I can use it to insert into the floral foam. I'm just using regular Scotch tape. I'm not using any kind of fancy tape here. So I'm just putting quite a bit of tape on there actually because I want to make sure it doesn't fall off and get lost, wouldn't want to do that. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to start prepping my florals. I did get all of my flowers from Trader Joe's, and I tried to be mindful of getting smaller sized flowers for this size basket because I felt like if I got too big of flowers, they were just going to, be too big. The paper I'm using is floral wrapping paper. You can find some at Micheals. And I'm also using a Ziploc bag. This is literally a sandwich Ziploc bag. You can use saran wrap, but I didn't have any, and I want to make sure that it doesn't leak. When I've made floral arrangements in the past, they've leaked out, so I'm double doing it. So I found it's actually easier if you cut that zip part off first and then try to put it into the little baggie. So I'm going to put the wet foam inside of the bag, and then I'm going to put that floral paper around that also, and then stuff it into the basket. So hopefully that creates enough of a barrier so that if there is any excess water, it won't be getting all over the place. I'm not a florist by any means. I do make wreaths and floral arrangements, but I work with hot glue. I don't work with real floral. So this is just something that I saw on TikTok and I thought it was so beautiful. I wanted to try my hand on it. And so I'm doing the best I can and what I think would work. And I'm just gathering up that paper around it and I'm going to put it into the mini basket. And I want to make sure that the paper and the plastic is cut down as far as possible so that you don't end up seeing it when the flowers are in. You can add some moss on top. I think that would be really a nice touch, but I may have had some, but it was late, y'all. It was literally like 11 o'clock last night. I was trying to make these and I was not feeling well last week, and I just didn't get around to getting this like prepped and ready. And honestly, I saw this idea, I think like 2 days ago, and I was like, I want to do that. That is so cute. So here I am. I'm just using some scissors. You do want to use some sharp scissors because the plastic bag was a little hard to cut through, which is good, because, that means it's strong, right? So I'm just going around and cutting the plastic as flush to the top of the basket as possible. And yeah, so I don't know what any of the names of the flowers that I got. I tried to stick with a color scheme and a theme. I did pink, And one of them I think is like an English rose or something, and then the other one's a carnation. And I know carnations get a lot of hate, but I don't understand why. I think carnations are so beautiful. They look so romantic and dainty. I love the ruffles on them. Carnations and peonies and ranunculus are literally some of my favorite flowers. I just think they're so beautiful and romantic. And I tried to stick with some wispy florals. I wanted it to look like a garden, like you went out and you were picking flowers out in the garden. So here you can see there was a little bit extra there, so I did cut that off, but you want it to be as flush as possible. These are all the flowers I got, and you can see I got baby's breath, a rose, carnation, those little tiny dainty white flowers, and then a greenery. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna be separating out the flowers. I want to make sure that each basket gets enough of the pink flowers in them. So I'm just gonna go through and make sure that I got enough. And y'all, please, if you get these roses, be careful. I'm not kidding. I started bleeding in Trader Joe's at the register. I had no idea there was thorns on them. And I grabbed the flowers out of the little, like, the kids shopping cart because my daughter had it. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." Like, it hurt so bad when it stabbed me, and I actually got like a little bruise on my finger from the thorns on it. So just be careful if you do get those. So here I am. I'm cutting up the greenery. I'm just cutting kind of like where each stem meets to create more pieces on it. And I am going to go back through and cut them a little bit shorter. How how short or long to cut them is up to you, because you may want them to stick out a lot farther in the basket. Now, I did make a mistake. I cut my flowers too short, so that's why I needed to cut the rest of my florals even shorter. But I think it worked out. For these ones were kind of hard to stick into the foam, and there was a lot of them. There was a ton of these to stick into the foam, so these ones were a little bit time consuming, but I think they were so worth it because they just added that wildflower look that I was going for. So I really wanted to incorporate them. I just didn't realize how time consuming it was going to be, but you know what? I don't mind. I wanted to do something special and thoughtful, and so I didn't mind doing this. And I actually did really enjoy doing it. I was just a little sleepy last night because it was, like I said, 11 o'clock at night, but your girl got it done. Woo, oh my gosh. It's just a sonic boom. Did you all hear that? We get those all the time. Okay, proceeding. So yes, here I am. I'm cutting them, and you can see here I did cut these ones long enough, and it was the English roses or the other pink roses that I cut too short. So it is what it is, but here I have all the carnations cut up. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut up these ones. I did also try to remove some of the excess greenery just because I find that if there's too much greenery at the end of the stem, it's kind of hard to stick into the foam. So the greenery is nice, obviously because it fills in the space, but just be mindful that when you're trying to stick it into the foam, if there's too much of it, it's going to give you a hard time going into the foam. So I'm just going to cut off some of the excess on there. Now, I did say that, this is a Mother's Day gift idea, but this was actually a gift I used for Teacher Appreciation Day. But this is honestly such a beautiful gift for, teachers and for Mother's Day. I mean, I'm a mom, and my daughter was just so ecstatic over this. She thought they were so cute, and so did I. I think I am gonna make one for myself. I wanted to make one for myself for this weekend, but the flowers are probably gonna be really hard to get. So here you can see I am putting them into the basket, and not gonna lie, I actually did this twice because the first time I did it, I hated it. So I found that around the edges, you actually want to stick them in kind of angled so that they're sticking out a little bit more sideways, and then towards the center you want to stick them more upright. And then I tried to keep my smaller pieces in the front, like around the border of the basket, and then my taller pieces in the middle. So I'm just going around, and um, I'm trying to evenly space it, but aside from that, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. I'm just trying to see if there's any gaps, using the baby's breath and the little sunflower flower or the white dainty flowers to fill in any gaps. And then here you can see I'm sticking that gift card stick into the foam. And the nice thing about that is that, you can still see it, and it's not going to get wet from the foam because you put it on there. So yeah, I put that on there, and oh, I forgot. I also added this really pretty lace ribbon. I think I got this at what's it called? Dollar Tree. I think it's a ribbon they have all the time. I just thought it was so pretty. It was such a beautiful addition, and I'm just adding just a simple shoelace bow to the side of it. But you could add one on each side. I did want to add one on each side, but I didn't have enough ribbon well, maybe I did have extra in my room. I don't even know, but it was late. I didn't even think about it. But anyways, yeah, so it would be cute to add one on each side if you want to. You could add extra ribbon. You could add some pink ribbon. You could add some charms on there. You could add a sweet little tag on there, whatever you want. So yeah, I'm just adding that bow on there, and I thought that these came out so pretty, and I hope that this really inspired you in some way. I really enjoyed making these, and I think they were such a thoughtful gift, a handmade gift. I love it. So here you can see they're all made. And if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. If you tried it, let me know how it went. And I really appreciate you watching and spending some time with me. And I hope it inspired you. And I hope you have a really beautiful day.